Oh, Yakino Watin, whatever. Good morning. This is KVMR FM Nevada City. Program's called Dreamwalk. I'm Michael Ben, and I'm going to be by myself for a little while. Skip got all tied up with stuff on the road, and Miss Jiff got tied up with doctor appointments, and you're just stuck with little old me. For the 10 o'clock hour, we would like to thank the South Pine Cafe in Nevada City and Grass Valley, offering breakfast and lunch daily with specialties like huevos rancheros and tofu scrambles. South Pine Cafe is in downtown Nevada City at 110 South Pine Street and 102 North Richardson Street in Grass Valley. Menus online at southpinecafe.com. And by Big O Tires, with independently owned and automotive stores throughout Northern California and Northern Nevada, providing brake service, alignments, suspension repair, oil changes, and scheduled vehicle maintenance. Locations are online at bigotires.com. Halito Chimachukma, Sasakari Nikki Nesko, Nikki Hesko, Nikki Eskum. Be back soon. Thanks for listening.
I just can't help it. I gotta play at least 8 bars of Sidney Cassell.
The night, dear, I sadly sleep in dream of hell.
Okay, that's enough of that. I'm gonna do something else.
This is KVMR, FM Nevada City, KCPC, Camino. You can hear us up in Truckee at 105.1 FM. And on the web, where people are listening all over the world at www.kvmr.fm. No, it's kvmr.org. Thank you, Skip, for nodding your head.
I'm just a nodder.
Well, sometimes I can't tell if you're live still because you just
nodding
don't
off.
move.
Yeah, no, no.
But you actually didn't nod off. You just did one, more than multiple nods is what it's
Well, you know, nodding is part of my day. About 2:30 to 3, it's time to nod off.
You're being naughty then.
No, that would
Non-naughty.
be a GHT type. No, this is nod. N-O-D, nod.
Not a node.
Head.
N-O-D-E.
Head flopping forward and eyes closing, and it's time to nod at about.
Do you curl your
2:33.
beard up, make like a little chin pillow so you don't have to bend too much and have a hurt neck?
No, I have a neck pillow for that now. Yeah.
I get kind of naughty too about that time of year.
You get those-
I want coffee and sugar and sugar.
Oh, well, that's why.
That's what I want, but I don't do that.
Okay, now I hear the Chop-A-Day dietitians
Yeah.
out there screaming at you already.
God, what an awful homunculus to have on my shoulders since we've done those programs. I just hear every time I eat something, I hear, don't eat the sugar.
Don't eat that.
Cut down the soda
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah.
protein. Don't do the...
Don't do that. Oh, too much fat. Yep.
Exercise. Anyway, so I'm trying.
You're trying.
Yeah, I got this little thing on my phone. It's like a health app, and it counts the steps that I can take during the day. And I'm supposed to do like 10,000
What's
steps
it, a motion
a day.
detector in your phone?
Yeah,
You could
yeah.
count your steps?
Yeah, so
A
yesterday...
pedometer?
Yeah, something like that. So yesterday I did about 3.5 miles just walking. And the idea is to have 10,000 steps, which is 5 miles a day for health. So it's good to know when I can't quite stop and exercise that the movement does count for something.
Well, you're 2 miles short for yesterday, so you got to make it up today. That means 7 miles today. And then when you keep falling short, by the end of the week, you owe 20 miles in steps. Think about that. Do the math.
I did think it, but you can't bring back tomorrow. It's already done. And so once the page is read, it's dead. So I have to just like try to do it today, something like that.
Speaking of pages being read, we have a page here to read.
I want to read this one.
You go first.
No, you go first.
No,
I
you
just
go
want to
first.
interrupt you because
Okay.
you made me think. I didn't...
I made you think.
Yeah.
Oh, and that hurt.
I burned it for the week. Thanks.
Your
I was
whole
saving it for
thinking
Friday
process-
afternoon.
Your whole process of thinking is gone for the week.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, KVMR is seeking applicants for grants to produce national radio programming with some of the station's CPB restricted funding. Grant information and forms are online at kvmr.org under public information. You may also email program@kvmr.org to be sent grant materials or call 530-265-9073 extension 211 for more information. Deadline to apply is February 23rd.
Now, musical interlude.
Okay, enough.
Storyteller, songwriter, troubadour, and modern-day bard Chuck Brodsky returns to the Georgetown Divide on Saturday, January the 24th, 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. The show takes place at the Marshall Grange, 4048 Marshall Road in Garden Valley. Visit Marshall, MARSHALL, Grange.org. How do you return to a divide? That's kind of like, what do you stand on?
That's
Just like-
true. It's either one foot on one side, and you returning to the divide is a thin line.
But how thin is that line, and what do you stand on there? Gosh, it always gets like this when
now you're all
Melanie Sullivan
confused.
comes around. I get all like out there.
Well, let's do a brief musical interlude before we bring her on.
Okay, thanks for listening.
Never
One of the fun parts about doing Dreamwalk all these years, Skip, is not just doing native music, but it's having native stuff here. And then we also do indigenous things, and it's very sweet, I think, when we can go all the way around the world and find some people that had similar thing happen to them.
The same problems.
The same problems that happened to another group of people, and same thing that happened here, that happened in the West, that happened in the Mississippi Valley, that happened in Canada, that happened on the East Coast. And so we're going to, we asked Melanie Sullivan to come in. She's organized a special event for Saturday evening.
No. What? I don't know
Welcome,
the sign
Melanie.
language. I'm sorry. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah.
So this morning I was trying to figure out some way to kind of get us on the same page.
All right.
So I'm going to read something to you. Tell me what you think.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
Ever heard of Zhangzhou or Zhangji?
How do you spell it?
C-H-U-A-N-G. C-H-U-A-N-G space T-Z-U. Zhangzhou.
No, I've heard of Laozu.
There's a Zhangji, Z-H-U-A-N-G. Zhangji says, and there's another way. It's a variant of spelling that.
Okay.
Well, anyway, he said it was said of him that he could draw more perfect circles freehand than with a compass. His fingers brought forth spontaneous forms from nowhere. His mind was meanwhile free and without concern with what he was doing. No application was needed. His mind was perfectly simple and knew no obstacle. So here's the part I wanted to see. So, when the shoe fits, the foot is forgotten. When the belt fits, the belly is forgotten. And when the heart is right, for and against are forgotten. Does that sound familiar to you? Something you may have read before?
Actually, I've never heard that before, Michael.
Oh.
And it just opens my heart to hear you say it. I have a little something that might bring us all together, too.
All right, go for it.
Okay, well, of course, you've probably seen it on my Facebook post 1,000 times, but to me it's quite remarkable. Also considering our relationship together and how it's evolving over the course of 6 years with our Indigenous people cultural exchange nights. But there is a prophecy that comes out of Tibet, and it came out of the 8th century, and it was given by the great Indian mystic Padmasambhava, who successfully brought Buddhism into a war-torn Tibet in the 700s. And the prophecy says, when the iron bird flies and horses run on wheels, the Tibetan people will be scattered across the earth like ants, and the Dharma will come to the land of the red man.
Really?
So I keep coming back to this again and again, and it keeps coming up in my dreams, because to me it's quite remarkable. My Tibetan friends, of course, the iron horse, when the iron bird, which would be an airplane, of course, and the horses run on wheels, which is mechanized travel, whether it be a plane, train, or automobile.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think we're here at that time. And I see it really occurring in this community, especially because of, you know, your commitment to what we do together. And so there you go.
Well, I can, since I'm a red man, I can do something prophetic. Something cool and harmonic is going to happen on Saturday evening. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I can tell you about that.
See, you're prophetic too.
Yeah. I see a wonderful evening.
Okay, good.
Saturday night. Of course, in case you don't know, we're getting ready to receive the 14th annual visit of monks from GADEN SHARTSE Monastery. Tibetan Buddhist monks that visit our community, have been visiting our community for 14 years straight. They'll be arriving, I'm going to pick them up in Lotus tomorrow at about noon. And then we'll be setting up in St. Joseph's Cultural Center for our 2 weeks of residency, where they'll construct a sand mandala.
What's that?
What's the sand mandala?
I'm just saying that because some people have never heard of this and such. So I'm going to interrupt you with a lot of questions, because even Padmasambhava, blah, 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 is a long word to say for people.
Okay, Guru Rinpoche, which means the precious one, yeah. The sand mandala is it's a meticulously constructed two-dimensional art form. It's constructed with grains of sand. Mandala literally means that which extracts the essence. It's a meditational tool. It can be viewed as objective art. You know, it just depends on your personal experience with it. There's a very nice, the union gave us a very lovely article in the paper today on page 2. There's a little bit of a further explanation of mandala on our website, seeourfriendsoftibet.org. But over the course of 2 weeks, the monks will be constructing a sand mandala in St. Joseph's Cultural Center. This year's sand mandala is the Vajrapani sand mandala, which is a obstacle removing approach or entity or deity. I'm not an expert on Buddhism. I don't claim to know. You know, I'm not an expert. I'm not speaking expertly. So you can go to the internet and look up all these wonderful things and extract your own, you know, experience of these things. But many people.
That's enough for this.
That's enough
session.
on that. Okay, so let's move on where I was headed.
Okay.
To Indigenous people's cultural exchange on Saturday night. So about 6 years ago, we were approached by yourself and Chairman Ryberg to perhaps do something collaboratively during these events. And this Saturday night will be our 6th Indigenous People's Cultural Exchange. And it's always a fun and lively event. A lot of the entire community comes out.
Educational too.
Educational.
To go get a peek into another group's world, I find that
it's wonderful.
Fascinating.
And what we're unified here is we're unified in the fact that our cultures have experienced a systematic destruction of our culture and cultural genocide. So we are unified in preservation, as you are unified in preservation. We're trying to preserve the fragile Tibetan culture as we're trying to preserve the fragile Native American culture. And of course, there's always a kinship between your community and the monks. I mean, it's just like putting a kitten back in with the litter. You know, everybody kind of just feels good, and there's like a unspoken recognition. It's a great deal of fun at 7 p.m. St. Joseph's Cultural Center. It's a free event. Any donations we raise we get split between the Maidu and the monks. And then there's also another wonderful thing happening on the 29th that you're going to share.
Oh, yeah. I guess we've been doing Indigenous Peoples Days down on Sycamore Ranch Park, down Highway 20. And on the 29th in the morning, we're going to have a blessing ceremony, and the monks are going to show up there. And we got some people from Yuba County that are officials that are going to be speaking. And yeah, it should be kind of another nice time.
That's a very exciting event. Now, that's not on the schedule on our website, but we'll get some information up there pretty quick.
It just came into being yesterday.
Yeah, it just came into being, and it's very exciting. And, of course, that's a beautiful spot. We were down there on Indigenous Peoples Day where Lama Punso offered a morning blessing, too. And it just strengthens the bond between our common work, which is unity and harmony and cultural preservation.
So you mentioned, I guess, a few things just to back up. I'm always glad that when you're on the air with us because you can explain some things. So you mentioned the Rinpoche and the Lama. You know, I think I know what a Lama is, but I don't think it's the right kind of Lama you're talking about. And what is a Rinpoche?
Donde es Lama? Yeah.
Como te say Lama?
Yeah, it's not the Monty Python Lama. Well, all monks are not lamas, but all lamas could be monks. It just depends. You know, the Tibetan culture is a ever-changing culture, as is their landscape. So a lama is somebody who's done 25 years of study and has taken the many tests, if you will, or, has gotten to some form of level of achievement in the studies of Buddhist Dharma and philosophy. And
is like written an oral exam type thing?
Well, their exams are mostly through Socratic debate. So in the Tibetan system, dialectic debate, which we will do a demonstration of. I'm not sure if we're doing that demonstration on Indigenous Peoples Nights because Joseph gave me the schedule, and of course I left it in my car. So no, I have that schedule, but I don't have the schedule of who's on Indigenous Peoples Night. So dialectic debate, which is a system of, it's just really alchemy. It's systematically taking apart one's belief system and putting it back together in an orderly fashion. So how do you know if what you believe can truly stand up if you don't take it apart through honorable debate, exchanges of ideas back and forth to dismantle your own structure of knowing? Yeah. So lamas achieved about, it's a degree called Geshe, and it's about the equivalent of a PhD, which would be 25 years of study. And so often in the university systems here, they liken it to a PhD. So that's Lama. Rinpoche means precious one, Rinpoche. In Tibetan, precious one. So Guru Rinpoche was Padmasambhava, the Indian mystic that brought Buddhism the second time around into Tibet. And at that time, it took hold. So you'll hear the word Rinpoche. There's not a Rinpoche on this tour that's coming now. Typically, a Rinpoche is a reincarnate being, a recognized reincarnate. So it means he's been around many, many lifetimes. And the Tibetans have identified a very interesting and remarkable system of identifying consciousness from one lifetime to another. And I personally have witnessed a little bit of that, and I believe it to be so. I think it's true that they have the methods to, you see it a little bit in the movie Kundun, where the little boy, Dalai Lama, says, my teeth are in the drawer, And the mother says, "What teeth?" And they go to the drawer, and the dentures are in there. It's they have a system where they put certain things in place, and it's very methodical and thought out, and it takes years and years and years in the identification process. Yeah.
So we have these people coming to our community now, and they're called monks. And I know in some belief systems there's a type of carrying the lineages forward, the teachings forward. There's a certain element of purity, of focus, and because the responsibilities of having a family and children and all this, those get set aside in order to do what's, I guess, thought of as a higher, more pure form of getting some teachings brought into the future. So not all natives do that, I guess that. But what I'm trying to get at here is there is a high value to the ceremony, and what we hold as we call sacred is something that other indigenous forms of people take as far as valuing ceremony as a form of healing and transmission of knowledge and such. So this is what the monks are bringing.
This is what the monks are bringing, and this is a 600-year-old tradition. These monks that are coming are from GADEN SHARTSE, which is the original Gelug monastery in Tibet. So if you think about the monasteries as universities, okay, don't get hung up on church, take religion and philosophy out of it. They're universities. Tibet was a society that went from a warrior class to an altruistic class. They were, in fact, the first society on the face of the planet to do such a thing, to lay down their weapons, to put away their armies in pursuit of spiritual teachings. So legions and legions of warriors became armies of monks, and the old fortresses in Tibet became monasteries. Centers of higher learning for altruistic studies, a society that decided not to use violence to solve their problems. Okay, out of that came a great deal of ritual, because the existing religion in Tibet at that time was a religion called Bon, which is a very earth-centered religion. It's very similar to many Native American rituals. And Padmasambhava skillfully, and his consort Yeshe Sogyal, who is a woman who's held very responsible for the success of Buddhism in Tibet, did not seek to do away with that religion. They just blended Buddhism with that religion, because Buddhism is really not a religion. It's a mind training. It's a practice for the mind. Okay, so you can be a Catholic, a Jewish person like myself, or any of these other things, and blend teachings of Buddhism with these, with your own religious philosophy, which is why it's so successful. So many of the rituals that the monks perform are actually a blend of many, many different things, but they're uniquely Tibetan. And so this tradition, this is what we're trying to do. After the incursion in 1959, the stream got interrupted. It was held very, very pure for almost 700 years, almost 800 years. Tibet defended her borders through the exchange of spiritual teachings. And those altruistic approaches manifested pretty much untouched for a very long period of time, so they were very pure. Now, after the incursion, this monastery had somewhere around 3,000 monks. Don't quote me, because I'm a little bit foggy this morning. And only 50 of them survived. Okay, this is what happened during their cultural annihilation. Then they went down, by the kindness of the Indian government, they were given some land, and they reestablished their monastery in exile. And that monastery, this community is very much a part of that monastery, because this community, Placerville, Northern California, and all the generous people across the United States that support these tours, is very responsible for the rebuilding of this, so that we can preserve our texts, we can preserve these rituals, we can do cyber preservation. There were 6,000 monasteries, 6,200 monasteries were destroyed during the incursion. So all those sacred texts that had been preserved for so long just annihilated.
We'll be back. This is KVMR FM Nevada City. We're with Melanie Sullivan with Sierra Friends of Tibet. Thanks for listening.
Zoma me da 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 la ma
Well, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the sand mandala itself. If you've never seen one, you might have even seen a picture. But what you don't realize is as we described earlier, the sand mandala itself is made from sand. Different colored grains of sand. Well, how does one draw with sand? They're not picking up the grains of sand with a tweezer and placing them, but they do have a little straw. If you can imagine a straw that's about 1/4 the diameter of a standard drinking straw. It's maybe only a 1/16 of an inch in diameter or so. Tiny little hole. And they feed the sand into the top of that straw, and then they guide the end of the straw along the lines of the pattern of the mandala itself that they're creating. And by taking those grains of sand, as they funnel down that straw, they deposit the grains of sand evenly to create whatever section of the mandala it is. See, this, I'm an engineering geek, so I'm describing to you how they do this. And so when it's all done, you will notice the tiniest of patterns within the overall pattern of the mandala that are so tiny, you go, how could they possibly do that? Well, it's with that little tiny straw. And indeed, at that point, those tiniest of patterns within the pattern are actually done with individual grains of sand until they're all in the right place. Now, the thing I always have joked about in my own mind is that I hope none of them sneeze while they're doing this job. Yes, I was curious, is that ever, do they have to turn away? If that possibility is they have to sneeze, they've got to turn away for 5 feet and let it go.
Yeah, there hasn't been a sneeze, but there was the the year when our photographer leaned over the mandala and her scarf went right through the middle of it on the last day. And the monks they're such amazing teachers, because I watched them when that occurred, and they were just like, no big deal. You know, they suck it up and then they redo it. So it's just more teaching for us not to be attached.
Patience. There
is that famous video on YouTube of the monks that constructed the sand mandala. It wasn't our tour, it's another tour, that constructed a sand mandala in a train station, and at night a woman went in there with her toddler, and the toddler ran through the sand mandala unbeknownst to the mother. So that's on YouTube, you can look that up. That's But the monks, this is the nature of this realm, impermanent, so they're just not really attached to it.
I think that's the most heartbreaking thing for me, is to take that fabulous piece of art now. It's a piece of art, and it's an expression of so many different things represented in that piece of art. And to stand there and watch them sweep it up. Just take those little brooms and sweep the whole thing up, and
yeah, no big deal. We do this every week.
Yeah, right. And they just sweep it up. Now, the fun part for me was getting the tiny, tiny little bag of sand. So they give out little, like a half teaspoon or something to everyone who wants to have it. And I still have mine. I still have the little grains of sand in that bag. But to see that piece of art just be destroyed right there with all those brushes, I go, I can't take it. I had to turn away. I couldn't for a while. I just couldn't watch them sweep it all up.
Yeah, people do. They gasp. They cry.
Yeah.
They have offered money to keep the mandala in place.
Keep it. Please let me clear coat it. Come on.
But this is the job of the mandala, is to bring up those experiences so that we can work through them. Because, of course, when we die, we don't take our body with us. So if you think of it in those terms, we might as well get on to it now, about impermanence, because this is the nature of this.
And it's the old stories we carry, the old wounds we carry, and all those that can't quite get us to attend to what we need to now.
That's
and
right.
Next steps and things.
That's called baggage.
Well, that's one way to put it.
Yeah, it's called baggage in our society.
That's a show my mother watches on TV.
It's a television show? Really?
Yeah, it's like a new version of the dating game. My mother loves it.
Okay. Well, this is KVMR FM Nevada City. The program's called Dreamwalk. I'm Michael Ben with Skip Allen Smith and Melanie Sullivan of the Sierra Friends of Tibet. And for the 11 o'clock hour, we would like to thank Ride Out Primary Care at Sierra Drive in Grass Valley, where Dr. Todd Boucher, whose clinical focus includes preventative medicine, chronic illness, and dermatology. Learn more at rideoutprimarycaresierra.org. And by Sweetland Garden Supply in downtown North San Juan, offering bare root trees, cover crops, light systems, organic soils, cloning supplies, wishes everyone a sweet and fertile new year. 530-292-9000.
Dig it. We'll be right back. This is KVMR FM Nevada City, KCPC, Camino, Placerville, and kvmr.org on the web. This is a song that's appropriate for all cultures.
My house is the red earth. It could be the center of the world. I've heard New York, Paris, Tokyo called the center of the world. But I say it is magnificently humble. You could drive by and miss it. Radio waves can obscure it. Words cannot construct it. For there are some sounds left to sacred wordless form. For instance, that fool crow picking through trash near the corral understands the center of the world as greasy scraps of fat. Just ask him. He doesn't have to say that the earth has turned scarlet through fierce belief after centuries of heartbreak and laughter. rock. You become the land beautiful and understand how 3 crows at the edge of the highway laughing become 3 crows at the edge of the world laughing. The earth spirit who lives here, she is working on a story. It is the oldest story in the world, and it is delicate, changing. If she sees you watching, she'll invite you in for coffee, give you warm bread, and you will be obligated to stay and listen. But this is no ordinary story. You will have to endure earthquakes, lightning, the deaths of all those you love, the most blinding beauty. It's a story so compelling you may never want to leave. This is how she traps you. See that stone finger over there? That is the only one who ever escaped.
So we got all excited about looking at a bunch of sand colored and making a drawing and such. And Melanie, what other stuff do you have here?
Well, we have a full 2-week schedule. Most events take place in St. Joseph's Hall. I would just like to mention really quick that the monks are finishing up in Placerville. They've been in Placerville for 2 weeks constructing the Medicine Buddha Sand Mandala. That dissolution ceremony is tonight at the Cosmic Cafe. Tomorrow morning they'll be placing sand into the American River at Lotus Park, at which point I'll rendezvous with them and bring them back to St. Joseph's Cultural Center for 2 weeks. Our opening ceremony is tomorrow night, 7 p.m. And then Saturday night is our Indigenous Peoples Cultural Exchange, which is very exciting. There's a first Dharma teaching on Saturday. There's a full range of events for 2 weeks. We'll be visiting schools. The monks are doing house, land, and business blessings. We did have an astrologer on this tour who was not able to remain for the tour, so I'm sorry, unfortunately, the Tibetan astrologer is not with us for this tour. It's interesting, the original astrologer that was coming on the tour actually got bit by a cobra and died in India. I was very sorry to hear that.
Whoa!
But we did have somebody step in and help us. But we're not offering any astrology, unfortunately. All the events can be, with full descriptions, are on our website at www.crfriendsoftibet.org. So there's teachings, lectures, healing empowerments, cultural demonstrations, and of course the lovely, lovely sand mandala. Yeah.
A lot of indigenous cultures don't really put their stuff out to this degree, I think, but
well,
a lot of it's done just, elder to, students, something like that. And I think it's really neat how this can be brought out to such a degree. And even horns I've seen, and people with animal heads dancing. And
yeah, you raise a really important point because, we, for some reason here, especially in Nevada County, we have a very special relationship with these people. Mm-hmm. I have met and known Tibetan people that would walk 30 days just to get a distant glimpse at a sand mandala. And we get one here every year, year after year after year. So this is quite remarkable. Now, this is one of the things that happened. If you talk to the Tibetan people, they'll tell you, It was very unfortunate what happened to their country and their culture. They were robbed, of course, and 1.2 million Tibetans were killed, and all their natural resources were stolen from them. However, it did force the spread of Dharma across the West. And so we are babies in this world of receiving this. I really encourage people just to come and experience. People always ask me, what's the best thing I can do? And I think the thing you can do is don't get wrapped up in Buddhism, philosophical beliefs, all this kind of stuff. Just come experience the rich, intricate, artistic fullness of the culture. They're remarkable people. They're just amazing people. They continuously blow my mind. When you see that mandala, you can see that these people are clearly cut from a different cloth. They do not see reality, the fabric of the reality, the same way we do.
And I have never seen what we'll say is a sad monk. Not ever.
Well, that's the interesting thing. If you look at their face in repose, you can see, especially a lot of them that have experienced torture, imprisonment, crimes against humanity.
We've had them on the program
and
before.
We've had them here. Yeah, many people that we've had in this community have firsthand experience of crimes against humanity. So you can see grief there, but as soon as you make a connection of attention with them, they light up into this place of joy and bliss.
The eye contact thing went bam, and I was, wow.
Yeah.
I wish I could carry that around all the time, you know. It'd be nice to have that background happy energy no matter what you're doing.
Like what are they
I haven't learned that. And yeah, I know. And of course, you know, old hippies, the first thing we do is, wow, what are they smoking? You know, we want some, because they're happy all the time. That's what old hippies do. You know, like Cheech and Chong. But the to make the eye contact and see that there's that endless inner peace, or whatever it is, it takes your breath away.
Yeah, you just look at His Holiness the Dalai Lama, which I want to come back to talking about now. Chairman Ryberg, because he had a very unique and unusual experience of being in the White House exactly the time that His Holiness was in the White House. His Holiness, it was in 2011, because I was there working at the Kala Chakra with many people from this community, the Kala Chakra for World Peace, which was an 11-day mandala event and ritual empowerment in Washington, D.C. Chairman Ryberg happened to be at the White House, and he crossed paths with the Dalai Lama, and there was an instant recognition between the two of them. Now, to me, I get chills just thinking about it.
Talking about it again, yeah.
Yeah, because it's remarkable, and it was very, very real thing that happened. And, you know, how is it that you can come across, you know, you come from distant places, but you're bound through this common thread, and then you encounter each other in this place where you're both trying to do the same thing. Well, His Holiness is not acting, you know, he's just on a mission of peace. I mean, he's not a political figure for Tibetan people. He's a spiritual figure. So you have these two people in the same place at the same time that make eye contact in the same moment. It's just mind-boggling. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's one, you know, for me, it's one mind, one common mind, you know, many, many different bodies type of thing.
Probably sums up how Tibetan monks feel everywhere.
The real revolution is love, I argue with Roberto. From the slick-tiled patio, where houseplants as big as elms sway in a somber breeze at 4 or 5 in the Mandala morning. And watch Pedro follow Diane up her brown arm to the place inside her ear where he isn't speaking revolution. And Alonzo tosses in the rhetoric made of too much rum and the burden of being an American in a country he no longer belongs to. What we are dealing with here are ideological differences. Political power, he says, to impress a woman who is gorgeously intelligent and who reminds me of the soft tau desert of a lover's cheek. She doesn't believe anything but the language of damp earth beneath a banana tree at noon, and will soon disappear in a screen of rum with a man who keeps his political secrets to himself in favor of love. I argue with Roberto and laugh across the continent to Diane, who is on the other side of the flat round table, whose surface ships would fall off of if they sail to the other side. We are Anishinaabe and Muskogee. We have wars of our own. Knowing this, we laugh and laugh until she disappears into the poinsettia forest with Pedro, who is still arriving from Puerto Rico. Palm trees flutter in smoldering tongues. I can look through the houses, the wind, and hear quick laughter become a train that has no name. Columbus doesn't leave the bow of the slippery ship. This is a land of revolution. You can do anything you want, Roberto tries to persuade me. I fight my way through the cloud of rum and laughter, through lines of Spanish and spirits of the recently dead, whose elbows rustle the palm leaves. It is almost dawn, and we are still a long ways from morning, but never far enough to get away. I awake in a story told by my ancestors when they spoke a version of the very beginning, of how so long ago we climbed the backbone of these torturous Americas. This is not a foreign country, but the land of our dreams. I listen to the gunfire we cannot hear, and begin this journey with the light of knowing the root of our own furious love.
You know what? I never tell people this, but I really like a fat trombone, and there's some fat trombone in that song. My goodness.
Yeah, it's true.
So for listeners, Melanie came into the broadcast booth and said, "Does this fit you?" And it's like double XL. And I'm thinking, holy cow, it might have fit me a year ago, but not now. And I put it on, it fits me. And I don't think I should have had that cheese turnover last night. It fits.
Cheese.
Well, I think the double XL is Indian, East India size.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he keeps joking about being brown and round. You know, he's been joking about
He's in
that for
good
a long
shape,
time. I'm brown
though.
and round, man. Yeah. But so the jacket
So
says,
I got a cool little jacket. It's got a little dragon on the front with this paw up in the air saying.
So that's a
something,
gift
and
from
on the back
Sonam.
it says Tibet on the back.
Yeah.
Shoot, I'm going to go out and play basketball now. It says Proud People, Proud Nation, Tibet 1959.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going to be wearing this jacket for all time.
Forever.
That was sent to you from Sonam Anjatsang, who was
Yeah.
our friend who's the independent filmmaker. He's shown 2 films here. He'll be coming in the summer with his 3rd film. And that he made that Tibetan national soccer jacket to fund his 2nd film. And he wanted to make sure I got one to you and Chairman Ryberg.
Oh,
So that
shucks.
actually comes from Sonam of Little Tibet. And he'll be back here in the summer. So
is he listening right now?
I don't know if he's listening or not, but you all were very kind to him, bringing him out to he's very interested in Native American culture because he's always played an extra. He's been an extra in many, many films. And in the film Valhalla, which was kind of an art film, he was an extra at the end when they have all the native-looking people on the rocks. They're actually all Tibetan people.
Huh.
And so he was when he came to California, he was like, please, 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 can I hang out with some Native American people? And you all came and got him and took him out to the bark houses and spent the days together. And
fun.
that was he continues to tell that story as being the favorite part of his trip.
Nice.
So he wanted me to make sure I sent the 2 XXLs to you all.
So you also passed a string, and I didn't know what to do, so I went into some Monty Python stuff, and so I got the holy string of
Yeah, the string is a
see our
blessing
friends in Tibet.
cord.
So what is it?
It's a blessing cord, and it's the Tibetan people are very superstitious people, and the Tibetan the cords are blessed by monks. Over 3,000 monks poured their attention into that cord, and then that cord has a particular little piece on it that came from a different monastery, the Nechang Monastery. And if you just see the cord as a repository of good intentions, many, many people who are working to further their altruistic mind have poured their attention into these cords to protect you from spiritual, mischief.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
I gave it to Skip right away before I knew what it
I
was.
saw
so-
that.
Yeah, because
he needs it more than I
because
do.
you snagged the jacket for yourself.
Yeah, but
I ain't no fool.
But the other thing is,
I'm warm now. You got stuff in the future. That's good.
Yeah, well,
You could fit 3 skips inside the jacket. On the
that's true. That's true. At that point, we'd make a Michael Ben sandwich if we were all in the same jacket.
That would really
No,
tickle.
we'll skip
Whoa.
the sandwich, huh?
really.
And keep your hands to yourself.
Unbelievable. So one more time, let's review here. SierraFriendsOfTibet.org, that is the website. Talking about St. Joseph's Cultural Center at 410 South Church Street in Grass Valley. They will be holding the Tibetan Buddhist monks of GADEN SHARTSE DOKHANG Monastery. Dokhang Monastery. I'll get that someday. And there's going to be a sacred sand mandala. There's music and dance, dharma teachings, public talks, healing empowerments, home and land and personal blessings, and Tibetan astrology, and a little bit of that.
Well, the astrologer's not with us.
Not
yeah,
with-
so
so
no Tibetan
none at
astrology.
all. None
But
at all.
on
Okay.
Monday, on Martin Luther King Day, a lot of people are off work. The monks are doing blessings in the hall, personal healing empowerments. If you'd like to get onto that, you can go to our website or call Joseph Guida at 272-4567 to schedule a personal healing empowerment. And please come out Friday night and welcome the monks. I just want to say that Grass Valley, Nevada City, Nevada County has a very notorious reputation amongst the Tibetan refugee community.
Notorious
Of unconditional love
They know we're troublemakers here too.
and support. Yeah, they're very, very familiar with our community, and I want to thank the people here for continually pouring out your support for these people. I want to thank KVMR and the union and all the Jacobson family, all the people that help us make this event possible, and just remind you that what we're about to commence here over the next 2 weeks and what we've done for the last 2 weeks in Placerville with the Placerville Friends of Tibet, the people living inside of Tibet, they would, they face imprisonment, torture, might go missing for doing the very same things that we're getting ready to do here over the next couple of weeks. So please hold them in your mind as we go forward and seek to change the consciousness of the world, which is just really all we're doing, is we're trying to change the fabric of reality through positive altruistic intention. And I know we can get there. I believe it. Tibet transformed from a warrior culture to an altruistic culture over the course of 700 years, and I really believe that we can do this again. And that's the reason that the Dharma has been exploded and now covers the earth. There's 9 tours in the United States right now. This is quite remarkable that there's 9 cultural tours in the States. So please come out and show your love. And it's always a lot of fun.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mel.
And thanks for having me.
I don't know what you said, but it sure sounds good.
Oh, Michael Ben. Many people don't know that we go way back to Texas.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so we
Okay.
go way back to Houston, Texas, Michael Ben and I.
You know it.
Okay.
Texas A&M, that's another reality.
Whoa, that sounds like another whole program. Let's move on to this. We had a request for some Robbie Roberts, and then I have another song by John Trudell here, which is called Rich Man's War. That's coming up here at KVMR. This is Dreamwalk on KVMR FM, Nevada City.
There was something strange in the sky tonight. I was left standing with 3 moonshine. Just on the outskirts of civilization. Just on the outskirts of civilization. Indians have always seen the light since the beginning of time. They drew pictures on the rocks of our relatives from the sky. Just on the outskirts of civilization. Just on the outskirts of civilization. Just on the outskirts of civilization. Where the sun goes at night. Just on the outskirts of civilization. I hear no longer the song of the wind. I hear no longer the cry of the bird. I see no more the white smoke rise. Only the low hum of the lights is still heard. Just on the just on the outskirts
Wow. Relationship expert Sonica Tinker and Christian Peterson will give a presentation entitled A Path to Know More. Gosh, I'm going to start over. The subject matter was kind of like making me trip over myself. Skip, why don't you go first, and that'll give me a chance to recoup my senses. My think I have senses. Can you do that? How's your reading skills these days?
I'm a little bit lost. What? You want me to go first?
Let's just switch
with
cards.
yours. Switch cards. Okay, yeah, that's better. Relationship experts Sonica Tinker and Christian Pedersen will give a presentation entitled A Path to More Love, and that's on Wednesday, January 28th, 7 p.m. at the Unity in the Gold Country. That's at 180 Cambridge Court in Grass Valley. You can look at loveworksforyou.com.
And the 2015 Regional Economic Development Summit introduces Winning the Jobs War, the Sierra Foothills Roadmap for Success, a presentation by Joel Kotkin. I know that author. He's the one that did that book called Tribes.
Mm-hmm. Looks like you have your schedule filled that day then.
When is that? Oh, the meeting takes place on Thursday, January the 29th, 3 to 6 p.m. at the Vets Memorial Auditorium in Grass Valley, the Center for the Arts.org. You know what? I'm going to try to get him on our program.
There you go.
But.
Well, I don't have any buts. I'm not. You said it.
And I think I'm going to just be quiet the rest of the thing. But I just want to say, when the shoe fits, the foot is forgotten. When the belt fits, the belly is forgotten. And when the heart is right, for and against are forgotten.
Rich man's war. Industrial streets. Class lines, money talks. Turning language to paper pieces. Rich man's war. Free man society. Raging, violent insecurity. Nuclear man, nuclear woman, unclear how to act. Rich man's war. Pershings cruising Europe. America, Russia. Governmental nuclear views. Industrial allies cutting the world as though they cannot see blood flowing. Rich man's war. Central America bleeding, wounds same as Palestine and Harlem. 3 Mile Island in El Salvador, Pine Ridge in Belfast. Rich man's war. The poor, starving for food, starving for land, starving for peace, starving for real. Rich man's war. Attacking human, attacking being, attacking earth, attacking tomorrow. Rich man's war. Thinking of always war. Thinking of always war. With machines for ancestors, new unborn generations. Chemical umbilical cords are only wiring. In your electrical progress, human lives burnt offerings to the god greed. With lies for ancestors, there is no truth in some futures. Rulers of minds feeding next generation souls to the control machine. Sacrifice ritual for the prophet technology. With isolation for ancestors, there's only the present, bought by the credit material uses. Forging chains binding you to destruction. Compliments of your deities, the industrial priest. more than neon flash. Trying hiding an eon mask. Have to face who we really are. Some point we have no choice. Distant star, distant light. In real world we are human being. In shadow of real world we are being human. Eon mask for neon flash. Distant thunder, distant cloud. Passion's rain. Drenched in possession, what we take is hard to do. What we do is hard to take. Some ones are crazy, or maybe we take turns. Dreaming about some kind of life, we say it could have been different. But it wasn't, because we weren't. No matter what, it turns out the same. A lot of things we said weren't true. Industrial stories in an electric instant. Eon mask. Neon flash. Neon flash. Thing is, nihilistic desires. Civilized, gone insane. Didn't imagine it turning like this. Some things start good and go bad. Some things get bad and stay bad. Are we caught in between living a lie or not living at all? Eliminated choices, lost in dreams we let go. Memories we never got to have, something else to think about. Waking up in industrial society, surrounded by angry days. Going through motions of not being. Wanting the best but not expecting it. Surviving paid for in dreams. Feeling like a world alone. Serving God with the devil to pay. Feeling like something in no place. What goes on in hell anyway? Thing is, it has to do with heart. We have to understand what hearts are for before we can get back to heaven or paradise, or the power in our mind.
It's a KVMR tradition now for a third of a century. Once again, KVMR and the Miners Foundry present the Martin Luther King Day Gospel Concert featuring, for the 33rd year, the Bethel AME Church Choir of Marysville. This annual event takes place at noon, King Day, next Monday at the Miners Foundry, 325 Spring Street, Nevada City. It's free and the community is invited to join this celebration. Concert begins at noon, doors open at 11:15 a.m. KVMR will broadcast the concert live at noon with a repeat broadcast at 6 p.m. And as always, there will be special King-related documentary features and music programming throughout the day. The King Gospel Concert, Monday at noon.
to do, don't know where to start. There's a woman, you see her every day. She's your mother, she's your sister, she's your friend. She's kind and strong, but who's to say? But who's to say? They are dancing through the stars, away from Turtle Island. Their parents know not where they are. They have become BUDDHIST. They are hiding in the stars, away from the hurt and pain. One small boy missed his mother, and back to earth he came again. I wish I may, I wish I might have this wish. I wish tonight. I wish I may. I wish I might have this wish. I wish tonight. Holding hands they left Turtle Island, and now we are sad and lonely. We miss our children of the sky. They sparkle, they shine, sometimes hide. They are called the Seven Dancers, lighting up the northern sky. We wish upon a falling star. Oh, Gista, tell us who we are. I wish I may, I wish I might have this wish. I wish tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might have this wish. I wish tonight. I wish I may. I wish I might have this wish. I wish tonight. I wish I may. I wish I might have this wish. I wish tonight.
their parents know not where they are. They have become BUDDHIST. They are hiding in the stars, away from the hurt and pain. One small boy missed his mother, and back to earth he came again. I wish I may, I wish I might have this wish. I wish tonight, I wish I may, I wish I might have this wish. I wish tonight. Holding hands they left Turtle Island, and now we are sad and lonely. We miss our children of the sky. They sparkle, they shine, sometimes hide. They are called the Seven Dancers, lighting up the northern sky. We wish upon a falling star. Oh, Gista, tell us who we are. I wish I may, I wish I might have this wish. I wish tonight, I wish I may, I wish I might have this wish. I wish tonight, I wish I may, I wish I might have this wish. I wish tonight, I wish I may, I wish I might have this wish. I wish tonight. Tell us who we are.
Some Joanne Shenandoah in there, and did some John Trudell. But now we got some music from Machu Picchu. Native American, after all.
she sees sweet William and his new maid bride riding to the church so near. Well, she throwed down her ivory comb, she throwed down her long yellow hair, said, I'll never go down to the church no more, never no more go there. Well, it was a lady in the night when they were fast asleep. Lady Margaret appeared at their bedstead, standing at their feet. She said, how do you like your pillow, young man? Tell me, how do you like your sheet? Tell me, how do you like the fair young man lying in your arms asleep? Very well, do I like my pillow, said he. Much better do I like my sheet. Best of all, do I like the fair young maid standing at my feet. Well, I want you to kiss her ruby lips, and twice you to kiss her feet. 3 times it laid in the long yellow hair, fell in her arms asleep. Now is a Lady Margaret in her chamber, or is she in her hall? Lady Margaret is in her cocoa coffin, a face turned to the wall.
This is KVMR FM, Nevada City. The program's called Dreamwalk. We're here every Thursday from 10 until noon. Today we talked about the Tibetan monks who are going to be here for several weeks in this neighborhood. I'd like to thank some kind underwriters, including the California College of Ayurveda, now enrolling students for full-time Ayurvedic practitioner training program beginning in October. Courses, catalogs, offerings online at ayurvedacollege.com. The California College of Ayurveda. Their natural health clinic, spa, and herbal garden open to visitors at 700 Zion Street, Nevada City. We'd also like to thank Second Time Around, a Native American-owned store buying and selling quality used furniture, household accessories, fine art, jewelry, and collectibles. They're at 112 Argyle Way in Nevada City. They're open 10 to 5, Monday through Saturday, and you can call them at 265-8844 in the 530 area code. Thanks everyone for listening. It's pretty much the same story every week. We gotta go.
Well, I left my broke down pickup down to Prophet, and I'm calling reservation about tonight. Well, I live my life from day to day, yeah, hand to mouth, the only way when payday comes is powwow 49. Well, I fixed my truck this week and time for rolling, and I work all week and get my sleep tonight. But when Friday comes, I go my way, cause I don't know no other way. When payday comes, it's Highway 49. Yeah, make my reservations for the road now, cause every weekend holds a powwow summertime. Gonna hit that celebration with a vengeance when I roll down Powwow Highway 49. Gonna roll down Powwow Highway 49. Ride does 85. I got lots more miles here left to go and a couple months before the snow, so I'm heading down old Highway 49. Yeah, make my reservations for the road now, cause every weekend holds a powwow summertime. Gonna hit that celebration with a vengeance. Gonna roll down Powwow Highway 49. Gonna roll down Powwow Highway 49. Yeah, yeah.